All right, welcome back to another guest interview for the Business Brawl with Kyle and Kelly. These guest interview shows are some of the most exciting for us to do. Kelly and I love interviewing our guests. We love learning as much as we can and giving them a much wider audience. So, this is going to be a very unique episode. Um, I'm very, very excited. So, we met our next guest, the ever so incredible and just awe-inspiring Ethan Poetic at a networking event. And when Kelly and I started talking to him, and we listened to what he was saying, we listened to his story. It was a no-brainer for us to have him on our show. So with that, I will kick it over to the one and only Ethan Poetic. Ethan, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for allowing me on, Kelly and
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah. Welcome, Ethan.
Yeah, it is an absolute pleasure. I mean, this is wow. All I can say is I hope our listeners are ready because this is a story unlike anything that anybody has ever seen, and we are so proud, so thankful, and happy to have you on. So, Ethan, I'm going to kick it over to you. Why don't you tell us your story? Tell us your background.
I'm originally from coastal Pennsylvania, home of the Red Raiders, Rick Hamilton, my second cousin, Hubby Marshall, Derek Morgan. Basically, I lived there until halfway to my eighth grade year. Then my mom decided to move to Lancaster and transferred to a different middle school. And then from there, graduated from McCaskey. I had actually had a job before I even graduated from McCaskey. And then after that, I went a couple of years of working odd jobs. Met Jordan Steffi, aka he is the CEO and founder of Atalo brand. Under his leadership, he took me on tours for college and inspired me to further my education. I graduated from Hack December 2017. Recently graduated from Mills University December 2020, and the ceremony was held last May 2021.
So you have two college degrees, Ethan?
Yes, an
Wow,
associate's and a bachelor's.
that's amazing. And what do you want to talk about? What your degrees are in?
The associate's degree is more of a general studies. I was taking a lot of communication classes at Hack and also other classes. That way, I could get the best of both worlds, where I get my education, but also at an affordable rate. And I remember the day like it was yesterday. I go into my advisor's office. It was Miss Lori signing. She looked at my degree. She had the biggest smile on her face and said, "Not only can I transfer, I can also apply for graduation." I was just surprised. I didn't see that coming out of that whole day. I didn't even have a dream of that. So basically, that month of December, I went from working a 10-hour shift up at a warehouse up in Ephrata, and then drove straight to the Giants Center, graduated, and went out to eat. When it came to the Mills University degree, I got accepted as a grad transfer from Hack. And then from there, it was just taking classes, working two jobs at the same time through the school to Lancaster. And the bachelor degree is basically major speech communication, minor broadcasting and media. And I was able to get two internships at the same place, Lancaster Community Television Station, where I interviewed a lot of people, from CEO Kenny Myers of Kegel's Produce, again, Jordan Steffi of Atalo, Dr. Todd Milley, my former head coach of football and track, Matt Ortega and his family, and many others. All of my content is on my YouTube channel. Plus, I'm on Channel 66, which is coverage in Lancaster, in New York, and maybe Adams County, 7 days a week. It was a great experience getting that internship in and being more hands-on and being able to do what I want and allow people to speak and narrate their stories of success and how they overcame what they need to overcome and make their transitions.
I think that's a perfect segue. I mean, your background is incredible, and it's absolutely amazing the things that you have accomplished with and the adversity that you've had to overcome. So I want to give you an opportunity now, Ethan, if you're comfortable with it, tell our listeners and our viewers what that adversity was. What was the mountain that Ethan Poetic had to climb?
I come from a single parent household of five. My biological father just was MIA, and the same thing with my brothers and sisters. Same thing with their biological parents as well. But out of all the men, I graduated from college. The other adversity was just I overcame a near fatal car accident where I had a 99% chance of death versus 1% chance of living. I should have passed away in the car accident of eternal bleeding before the ambulance people even got there, even before the police got there, even before the fire department cut the car in half. But for whatever reason, I'm still here. There's a purpose. And I also went to lengths to rehab and overcame, being on that feed tube for 5 whole months where I couldn't eat or drink. And through that, I learned discipline that you can eat, but the consequences are ammonia, which will cause a delay and a setback because my larynx had become paralyzed. It's just a vocal cord. So therefore, I had to wait a long time, but I kept getting the second opinions once a month through an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And then from there, once I passed that eating test and I started eating small foods, then eventually I started eating solid foods. And next, people started taking me out to eat. I saw beautiful waitresses, but I never saw the bill. But ultimately, it was just a situation where, life has its challenges, and no journey is ever easy. Pursuing higher education, maintaining your marriage, maintaining your business, and maintaining relationships with people. But over the years, I learned that you can overcome adversity. It's just a matter of making sure you're willing to do the work and have the right people that's going to help you grow, not hinder your growth.
I love it. Ethan, you said that you feel like you survived that accident for a reason. Like there was a purpose that you're still here, that you survived a horrific accident that would have, been the end of most people. What do you think that purpose is?
At the time, I didn't know what the purpose was, because when I finally wake up after being, put to sleep for several days, I see the hospital. I'm like, what am I doing here? But no one was willing to tell me anything until 3 days later. And, it's like a two-way lens. I was seeing, my struggle and all this adversity, but the people who were praying for me saw better days ahead. Like one of those key moments was Jason McKinney and his wife. They invited me over to Teen Haven Camp. And this was after I started eating again, started being functional and back in the public eye. I was having a great time there. Regaining my athletic ability, beating most people in the video games, having good lunch, dinner. And then, my mind took a pause when Jason said, I'm going to need you to tell your testimony to everybody. And I don't normally talk about stuff like that because I'm not the person that shows humility in the public eye, because some people got this perception that I'm a strong guy, which is true. But at the same time, it goes back to my childhood where I was taught to suppress my emotions while still being functional. It kind of played in that role. But with spiritual help, I start talking about what happened, what overcame, and a big weight, just got off my shoulder. And next thing you know, Jason was telling me he was so proud of me. His wife, his wife was very enthusiastic with, being supportive as well. And then when I started working for the Squishing Language, I thought I could just show up here, do what I need to do in my work, relate to the student athletes. But no, it doesn't work like that, because people got cell phones and they're going to research you. And when they research me, they're like, is that you from the car accident? I'm like, yeah. And then my boss, I tell him what's going on. He said, Ethan, you're inspiration. you're going to have to learn how to deal with this for the rest of your life. And once those phrases were told, it really allowed me to look at things different perspective. Like, what can I do with all this attention to me? Cause I'm so used to the attention coming to me for me being funny, being enthusiastic. But this is a whole different type of attention, and it's up to me how I can use it. But when I look at the purpose now, it's more inspiring the youth to overcome what they need to overcome, inspiring parents to make better choices in their lives so they don't leave their children picking up the tab due to their mistakes, and also influences people in administration, politics, school boards. It's just the way the message can touch someone's heart and their mind, and then you can't deny the facts because this was reported on WJAL and Lakes newspaper. But ultimately, what ended up happening was this year is my 10-year anniversary. Things took a turning point where I made the front page of the newspaper, first of the month, got featured on WGL. Then I recently got 2 Commonwealth citations, one from Scott Martin and Michael Sterla. They're involved with politics, but they also graduated from college. Letter from the school district Lancaster. Got featured in Harrisburg area news article. I got featured in the Millersville online thing.
And it sounds like you've been all over the place, Ethan.
I guess I better check my GPS.
That's funny.
And most recently, this happened recently, like last spring. My mentor didn't know what was going on, what my story was. And when he found out, he told the head department, Dr. Teresa Russell Loretz. And when she found out, she was amazed. And when she told the staff, they didn't know anything as well. And when she mentioned it, she was just touched. She was just wow. And I recently got a Special Overcoming Adversity Award, and came in the mail with a letter, and came with a certificate. I framed it, made a video. I showed her the video, and she said it made her day, and she rejoiced.
Very good.
No.
That's congratulations, Ethan.
I see your social media stuff, and I see you always taking pictures of people, and it's so awesome to see. You should take a picture with Kelly.
I did take a picture with Kelly.
Did you? Oh.
We did.
It was at her studio.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
She did your headshots.
Yep.
That's awesome. I have to keep an eye out for it. I didn't see it posted, but we'll have to make sure we get it up there on the page for all of our listeners and viewers. Ethan, what's next for Ethan Poetic? What are your goals?
I recently decided to start my own business. Ethan A. Poetic LLC. Services include corporate speaking engagement, keynote speaking, poetry workshops for education, like in elementary, high school, and middle school, motivational speaking, and also health advocate. Because I realize when I see certain people on psych meds, I realize the biggest reason why they're on psych meds is this: fear confrontation of the thing they need to confront. Because I realize until they confront what needs to be confronted, that's when they're going to have a breakthrough. Therefore, the psych meds are not going to be controlling them and hurt their immune system. But when they get free from the psych meds and go through the withdrawal, whether it's to the help of a family physician or a doctor, they'll know how to find a substitute to stimulate their mind that's more beneficial. Because our body naturally has certain chemicals that we're supposed to feed ourselves naturally through our body movements and our way of thinking. And I say all this to say because I went from a Christmas list full of medicine for my car accident, and when I start getting weaned off of it, I'm off, but I still got to face my reality. I still got to live my life. I still got to keep moving forward. And I never was on the psych meds. I never even mentioned it. The doctors were surprised that I didn't have PSD. the doctors were surprised that I didn't really suffer anything significant to like cause a serious disability, a malfunction in the brain. Because when a person goes on all those medicines, and I refer this back to the opioid epidemic, is this: it's not the medicine that's addictive. It's just when a person has all that downtime, they have a whole lot of time to think about their life, and sometimes they end up thinking about childhood wounds and scars that are unhealed. Because there's a reason behind the addiction, and they need help with confronting it the right way. And the reason why they're still suffering from it mentally, because when they went to that phase of that wound and trauma, was this: no one was there to catch them and hold them up.
That's pretty amazing, Ethan. Yeah. So why don't you tell all the listeners where they can find you, like all your social media platforms?
Well, let's see. I'm on Snapchat and TikTok, Ethan Poetic 23. I'm also on LinkedIn, Ethan Poetic. I'm on Facebook. It still says Ethan Vaughn, but I'm still in transition to hear back from Facebook to make that transition, even though I gave them the legal documents. And then there's also my YouTube channel, Ethan Poetic. I have a TikTok, no, not TikTok, Twitter, Ethan V23. And let's see, and I also have that's covered. Also have a website that's being developed.
Pretty much. Oh, you're getting a website. Okay.
Yeah, recently gonna have a website developed pretty soon. It's in the process. It's called EthanAPoetic.com. And once that gets up and running, then I can do a launch.
Okay, very good. So pretty much on all the places, it's Ethan A. Poetic.
Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. So, okay, very good. So do you have any like last little tidbits for our viewers to help them overcome adversity?
In life, you get to decide to be the victim or the victor. And you have to be willing to do the work, be around the right people who are going to tell you what you need to hear, and really get to the root issue of it, because our garden is only as beautiful as the weeds start to get picked out. And that's the same thing with our life, because we have to start picking out the things that are not healthy for us. Another key example I can give you is like a car. A car is only as functional as the maintenance. If you're not continuing to do the maintenance on the car, eventually you're going to end up at a roadblock and stranded. Same thing with mental health maintenance. You got to do that all year round, or else you might end up facing a roadblock.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I say all I have to say is that life is never easy, but more is done together than alone.
All right. Those great advice, Ethan. Yes.
It was beautiful. Ethan, thank you very, very much for coming on to the Business Brawl. We are so grateful, and I just think that your message is one that so many people need to hear. I mean, not everybody has the strength to, even overcome the accident, but to overcome everything else and then literally devote your life to just helping and inspiring others is incredible. So we really, really appreciate you coming on. For those listeners, we will be taking a short break as we record some new episodes. We will keep everybody posted. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
We'll see you the next time.